Look at that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the people who are just tuning in. I've already gone through the LA County um, numbers, and I'll whip back around to that and we'll append it to this. But we're starting right now. We're in Orange County. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So, okay. So we talked about being up 50.7% more for sale properties over last year. Sold properties is down 7.2% as compared to last month and down 4% as compared to last year. Again, a bit more dramatic, right, than it is in LA County, right? Orange County is a bit more dramatic on the decreases or the declines in the numbers. However, we still could see it rebound, and that's what we're looking for, right? Pendants are down 8.9% as compared to last month and down 2.8% over last year. Okay. New listing inventory is down 28.4% as compared to last year or last month. I'm sorry. And 11.9% increase over last year. So again, still getting new, some more new listings on the market, which is great. Orange County definitely still needs it. When you see their numbers of inventory in terms of months of inventory, you'll see why it's so very needed. Okay. Average active price is down 3.4% over last month and down 11.4% as compared to last year. Okay. So sellers on average are asking 11.4% less than they did last year. Okay. However, like LA, they're receiving more. They're receiving 5.2% more than they did last year on average. Okay. So that is definitely a good sign for sellers in Orange County and a good sign for buyers because this is not an astronomical number, right? It's not an astronomical number at all. Remember, 4 to 7% of it are the numbers in terms of appreciation, right? 4 to 7% is normal, is considered normal appreciation. This is 5.2%. Not bad at all. Okay. All right, months of inventory is increased 10.9% over last month. Last month, we were at 2.8 months of inventory. We're currently at 3.1 months of inventory. Okay. And overall, a 53.3% increase as overall compared to last year. We were at 1.9 months of inventory in Orange County, you guys, just barely having anything on the market. Currently, 2.9 months of inventory. So we are moving on up, as the Jeffersons say. We are moving on up at 2.9 months of inventory. So we're moving in the right direction. All right. But we are still in Orange County. Let's keep it clear. We are still in a seller's market in Orange County. You see how that's different? Like you're going to have to, as an agent, put on your county hats, right? Because in LA County, you're moving into a normal market. In Orange County, you are still in most areas in a seller's market, right? So your sense of urgency, how you make offers, all that has to change depending on the circumstances in that neighborhood, in that county. Okay.
Hey, Brandy, question.
Sure.
So being in a seller's market in Orange County, does that also mean that their properties probably aren't going to sit as long because it's a seller's market?
Absolutely.
Or do you still see them kind of sitting, but no, seller's market means you're going to sell more quickly than the normal or buyer's market.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Seller's market typically says I'm going to sell faster than I would in a normal or a buyer's market. Absolutely.
Okay.
There should be more competition even for a property that's priced, relatively correct. There should be more competition. So you may have multiple offers in a seller's market in Orange County.
Great.
Right? Because there's just not as much inventory. So of course, buyers in that area are going for the same property. That's what ends up happening, right? In a seller's market. Okay. But again, in Orange County, you definitely need to have a sense of urgency, no doubt about that. But when making the offers, you definitely want to dive into the details of that property, talk to the agent, make sure that you get it right because you don't want to be making an offer that's 30,000 over and you're the only offer, right? Why would you do that? Because you just thought, because you listened to the weekly market report and it says that we're in a seller's market, that, oh, I'm going to have competition. No, you still got to make that call and do your due diligence to represent your buyer correctly. You get what I'm saying? Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that out too.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Average days on market is up 7.1%. So we went from 28 days on market last month to 30 days on market currently. And then we are up 34.8% overall. So last year we were at 23 days on market and now we're at 31 days on market. So you see the change. Although we're still in a seller's market, as inventory increases, even in a seller's market, days on market increases. Okay. Sold versus original list price, we were at 98% of list price last month. We're at 97% of list price currently, a 1% decrease. And then a 2% decrease overall. Last year, we were at 99% of list price. Sellers are receiving 99% of their list price, and currently they're receiving 97% of their list price. We are the biggest influencers of that number. So we can help our sellers to achieve 100% of the list price if they listen and price their properties correctly. Okay. They don't have to get 97%, they can get 100%. All right, let's go to Riverside. In Riverside, for sale properties down 0.9% over last month. However, up 37.8% over last year. So across the board, guys, we're just seeing more inventory, more for sale inventory, which means existing inventory on the market. As compared to last year, we've got 37.8% more properties on the market, which is great, right? Sold properties is down 16.8% as compared to last month, and down 3.5% over last year. Okay, so still, again, keeping with all the other counties so far, our closings are actually down anywhere between 0.9% to obviously 4%, I believe was Orange County. All righty. Pendants are down 7.5% as compared to last month, and down 1.7% overall as compared to last year. So we're looking at things slowing versus picking up speed. Hopefully this next month, like June, we haven't seen the closing numbers yet for June. Actually, did we? Yes, we actually have. I'm sorry, I'm in July. So we haven't seen the closings yet for July. However, I do know that last month we had less pendings than we did the previous year, right? So if you have less pendings than you did the previous year, obviously you are probably going to have less closings. You could say, right? So if we don't see a rebound, like our rebounds would come June, July, August, right? That's our summer months. We normally rebound in the summer. Now I will say we did see rebounds in the fall. A couple of years ago, we saw that our market has shifted and that a lot of sales came in the fall. So if we don't see our rebound here in the summer, it could potentially move into the fall. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's our whole job, is to be keeping an eye on these trends and knowing where we're going, right? So new listing inventory is down 24.1% over last month. However, it's increased 7.1% over last year. Okay, that's a good thing. Here in Riverside County, got more inventory. Average active price has gone down 5.2% over last month, and down 5.7% over last year. So sellers in Riverside are asking 5.7% higher than they did last year. However, they're receiving asking 5.7% lower than they did last year, right? However, they're receiving 1.7% higher than they did last year. Okay, so a very modest amount, right? A very modest amount of appreciation in Riverside County. We would expect that they would not appreciate at the same level as Orange County or as LA County, given that they're very far on the outskirts, right? but they are seeing some appreciation to the tune of 1.7%. Months of inventory, we are 15.3% higher than we were last month. We were at 3.9 months of inventory last month, currently sitting at 4.5 months of inventory. And then overall, a 42.4% increase over last year. So last year, in a severe seller's market at 2.6 months of inventory, currently we're at 3.7 months of inventory. So we are knocking again at the door of the normal market, right? Not quite there yet, but I'm knocking at the door. All right, average days on market is up 2.1% over last month. We were at 48 days on market last month. We're at 49 days on market currently. And then as compared to last year, we're seeing a 21.4% increase. So last year, we were at 42 days on market and currently 51 days on market, okay? And then sold versus original list price, a 1% decrease. We were at 96% of list price last month. We're at 95% of list price currently. And a 1% decrease overall. Again, 97% of list price was last year, and sellers are receiving 96% of list price currently. Okay. Still, you guys, in all the counties we're seeing, right? It's the upper 90s. Right. So as long as the sellers are in the upper 90s, they're going to be happy. But more importantly, it's showing that the sellers are and the agents are working together to list their properties at market rate, right? They're not shooting for the stars and then having to reduce, and then that would be reflected in this number. Okay. All right, now to the last county of the day, San Bernardino County. For sale properties is up 3.8% as compared to last month and up 33.1% as compared to last year. So again, of all the counties, we've got more inventory. Solds are down 2.7% over last month and down 2.6% over last year. So we have less closings than we did last year to the tune of 2.6%. 2.6%. Pendants are down 10.8% over last year. I'm sorry, over last month, and down 1.2% over last year. Okay, so we have less closings and less escrows than we did last year. Now, these aren't big amounts, right? But something to keep our eyes on. New listing inventory is down 25.2% over last month and up 10.2% over last year. Average active price is down 0.2% over last month and down 0.2% over last month and down 2.5% over last year. Okay, average active price. Sellers are asking on average 2.5% less than they did last year. However, they are receiving 4.9% higher than they did last year. Okay. So sellers, although they're asking less, are receiving more. Same trend throughout all the counties, right? And 4.9% is a modest amount of appreciation. It's right in that normal amount. Actually, is in that normal threshold, that normal amount of appreciation, which is great. Months of inventory has increased 2.1% over last month. Last month, we're at 4.7 months of inventory, currently at 4.8 months of inventory, and a 34.6% increase over last year. Last year, 3.5 months of inventory, currently 4.7. So out of all the counties, San Bernardino County, it has the highest amount of months of inventory. And so they are looking more like the normal market, okay? So if you have buyers in that market, right, you got to be hyper local and look what's going on in the neighborhoods that they are looking in, because it is going to be different than if they were trying to purchase in Orange County or some parts of LA County, right? They are in a normal market. Now, I say that, and I will also say, like I was telling Danila, you got to keep in mind, like some neighborhoods are just booming and are just in demand. And if your buyer is looking in that particular neighborhood, then you know that that property still may have multiple offers and still may fly off the shelf very quickly, right? Maybe they're in the right school district or have the right amenities around it or whatever. That's your job, to be hyper local and to really help your really help your client to understand those conditions. Okay. And you can show them that by looking at the data for the neighborhood. All right, average days on market is has decreased 4.5%. Last month we were at 44 days. Currently we're at 42 days. And then a 21.1% increase overall. Last year we were at 38 days on market. Currently we're at 46 days on market. Okay. Don't let this number, this big 46 days, you think, oh, I got a month and a half to show my client the property. You do not. You do not. The minute that you take all day to show your client a property, the agent will be like, it was on 30 days and nothing. And then literally this weekend, I got 3 offers. And you're like, oh my God, what happened? It never fails, you guys. So always act with a sense of urgency. Okay. All right. We've got sold versus original list price has decreased 4.1% over last month. Last month, we were at 98% of list price, currently 94% of list price. Overall, though, a 2% decrease. So last year, we were at 99% of list price, and currently sellers are receiving 97% of list price. All right, that is it for our numbers. Let's go over our sales trends. Let's go over our calendar for the week. We got some great things going on this week. We've got group coaching at noon. We've got Eileen doing a Q&A for the tech. So come and ask her any questions that you have. Also, you could chime on via Zoom if you have any questions. It's going to be a really good one. We've got conversations in real play at 9 a.m. Now that is Tuesday and Thursday, you guys. Conversations in real play is Tuesday and Thursday, one with Diana and one with me. Like I mentioned, our tech workshop, this Q&A, not the opportunities, coaching. I've got conversations in real play. Okay. Conversations in real play. Then we've got Q&A with Ed tomorrow. Remember, we have a Q&A with Ed tomorrow. He's back from vacation. Then we also have obviously broker hour on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, Wednesday and Thursday with him at 10 a.m. And we have our tech workshop with Martha at 1 o'clock. Okay, and that's on Wednesday. Got Dial for Dollars on Thursday at 2 p.m. And I was going to say, I'm missing something. July 16th, which is on Wednesday, we are doing a lunch and learn. List to last. All righty. List to last with Gary Keller and Jason Abrams. They are going to be talking about how to do the consultative approach to your listing presentation and your buyer presentation, how to get them to sign, using strategy or using like questioning and storytelling strategies to get your clients to engage with you, to build trust. So we are excited about this. This is a webinar, and we're going to cast it here in our market center. So that's on July 16th. We're hoping that you guys will come out. We also have a lunch and learn. Nancy Leal is going to be doing a lunch and learn on Friday at 1 p.m. So that's on July 18th at 1 p.m. Downey Capital, she's going to be talking about programs, all righty, lending programs to help your clients. You guys, we have to know a little bit about a lot. And we really have to know, we need to know these programs that are out there for our clients that our clients may fit into their qualifications, right? One of the things right now is affordability. Shelley has been saying this for a long time. You know, how can people afford? How can people afford? Well, we got to take advantage of these programs for them. We've got to get creative and help our clients to be able to understand that they have options, right? So, and part of that is knowing the programs that are available out there. Let me look at the chat real quick, see what's going on. How do I search and provide information that is hyper local, and how much of a radius is considered hyper local? Very good question. So, Latasha, you can use the MLS. That's how you're going to search. So if you've got an address that is, if you got an address around your property that they're looking at, you're going to put that into the MLS and you're going to run it almost like a CMA. And that's how you do it. And when you say how much of a radius, we'll start with 1 mile. That's hyper local, right? 1 mile around the property. And then if you don't get anything that's for sale, for sale, pending and or closed, then I'll go out 2 miles. But a neighborhood doesn't really cross over major cross streets. So you're not going to be crossing over a major cross street. That area could not be comparable to your specific pocket, right? Because that neighborhood is that pocket. So you want to keep that in mind. I hope I answered that for you. And you guys, we have got bold coming. So first step of bold, you guys know, is free. This is onward bold. This is new. This is not the old bold. This is completely revamped, written by Gary Keller, Jay Papazan, and Jason Abrams. And I'm super excited about it because it is completely different. I did take the first step of bold with the Huntington Beach office because, you guys, I've done both 17 times. So I wasn't necessarily I wasn't convinced because I've heard old bold, new bold, right? And I took it and it was bold. It was the same bold that I'm used to. But this time around, first day of bold, totally different. I was like, okay. So super excited. I want everybody to register for the first day of bold. Here is the QR code. Make sure that you get registered. We start on August 7th. It is going to be at the KW Whittier office. I'm excited, you guys. You guys need to jump on this. This is 6 weeks of mindset training, sales training, and really getting us ready to have the best fourth quarter ever and the best first quarter ever. Right. And if you're ready to change your business, to change your mindset, to get into production and get going, this is the class. This is the class. It's the best class. Okay. So make sure that you take advantage of it. Let me see who's in the chat. Oh, all righty. Good deal, Latasha. All right, everybody got the QR code. We ready? We good? Now, full bowl does cost. Full bowl does cost. First day though is free. Okay. It's every week for 6 weeks on Thursday. I think that's what August 7th is. It's a Thursday. Right? Am I right? Am I right? Yes, it's a Thursday. So it's going to be 6 weeks every Thursday, and it's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Thursday. Okay. All right. Now it's going to be August 7th, and then we skip a week, and then we start the other 5 weeks. Okay. All right. And there's going to be more information, more time. We're going to have we have flyers up, so you guys can always get the QR code. It's in the hub. Sign up. All right. And then we've got our bonfire, our annual bonfire is on Thursday, August 21st. So again, save the date, August 7th, August 21st. Save the date. We're going to be doing our bonfire, our barbecue cookout. It's in Huntington Beach at Bolsa Chica Beach. So it's from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So make sure that you sign up. You have to, it's a potluck. The office provides all the meat and all that kind of stuff, but we always bring sides, chips, drinks, sodas, drinks, all that good stuff. So sign up so that you guys can so that you can attend. Obviously, we need to know who's all coming because you gotta have the food, right? So sign up. It's a great time. We always have such a good time. Bring a good jacket, all right, because it gets chilly out there. All right, we have Ignite After Dark that is still going on from 6:30 p.m. I think it's a 2-hour class. You can use the QR code to get the link. And then Millionaire Real Estate Agent Podcast. Actually, there's a new one that dropped this morning. So let me see. The one this morning that dropped is, okay, I don't want to play it, but it's for the local team to expansion team. All righty. But telling you guys, Millionaire Real Estate Agent is wonderful. You can learn so many strategies from these millionaire real estate agents that you can use in your business immediately. Okay. So check that out. Let's go into some industry news real quick. Mortgage rate upticks, leave summer market on standby. Again, that's why we're seeing a little bit more of a sluggish market during the summertime. We have had mortgage rates go up a little bit. Okay. Um, they were saying that they were up as far as 9.4. I did not see interest rates go up higher than the 7, so I wasn't sure where they come up with the 9.4%. But definitely, oh, I'm sorry. They said rate activity. I was about to say, I don't know nothing about being at 9.4. They're saying rate activity was up 9.4, but it started to go down because interest rates ticked up a little bit. Okay. So that's what they're talking about. And that, you know, obviously we've got a lot of things that are concerning for our economy right now. There are job loss concerns, tariff uncertainty that is really, I won't say killing the momentum, but definitely keeping the momentum at bay. Okay. Because there's just too much uncertainty as to what it's going to do. And some people just can't take the mindset of, you know what, my job is secure and I need to buy instead of renting and throwing my money away. And so they end up, they just don't take that attitude, they don't take that mindset, and they end up staying on the fence and costing themselves thousands of dollars in the process, right? Because if you are renting, you do throw your money away. Although it may be all you can do right now. However, if you can buy, it is still the best time to buy if you know that your job is secure. And you know, security is as secure as you could possibly be, right? All righty. Hybrid buyer agent blends AI with the human touch. So I wanted you guys to know this because obviously AI is important because it is being used all over the board. And so this new company, they are not in our market yet, called Joy.ai. What they're trying to do is use AI to bring, it's called with Joy.ai. They're trying to use AI to help buyers through the process. Okay. So they are using AI to hold the hand of a buyer through the transaction. And they offer commission rebates and things like that in return. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see here, it says buyers who complete a transaction with the firm can receive a rebate of up to 70% of the buy side on the buy side commission. Right. So they said it's not a purely AI real estate agent, but it is definitely the majority AI, and a physical person, I guess, chimes in if needed, right? They are not in our market. They just are in, I think, 6 markets right now, primarily South and Midwest. Okay. I mean, you know, I'm not concerned at all, to be honest with you, just not concerned at all. AI is amazing for what it can do and how it can help a human, right? But remember, our business is about relationships, and we have got to be about strengthening and deepening the relationships with the people around us and with our clients, and being their go-to resource for all things real estate. If we are that person, trust me, they are not going to want a bot to take over their real estate transaction. They're going to want a Shelly or a Danila or a Jen or a Maria. They're going to want Oscar and Chris. They're not going to want Joy.ai. Okay. So just want to leave you guys with that. That is all I have for today. You guys have an amazing, amazing day. Hope to see you in group coaching and all the things that we have going on this week. We've got some good lunch and learn. So hope to see you there. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
You're welcome, Shell. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Awesome
You're
information.
welcome.
Awesome information. Thank you. Thank you. Have a
You're
good day.
welcome, my dear. You too. Hey, so for my folks that I did not get to, because I didn't do, I started the recording after, for LA County. So I'm gonna go ahead and do LA County right now. So again, so that you guys can hear it. For those of you who are watching this recording, and didn't see it live. So LA County is, for sale properties has increased 4.4% over last month. Okay. And increased 36.9% over last year. So in LA County, we are definitely seeing more inventory across the board, right? And this is in all counties. We're seeing more inventory. Sold properties is down 5.8% over last month, and down 0.9% over last year, or as compared to last year. And then pendants are down 14.6% over last month, and down 1.2% as compared to last year. So the reality is that we are in two of the three major categories here, sales trends here. We're in the negative. We're going down. We're moving in the wrong direction, right? However, even though we're moving in the wrong direction, it's very slight, right? 0.9%, 1.2%. Very slight, and we can definitely rebound in the summer and fall. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye on that number. New listings are down 25.7% as compared to last month, and 14.4% over last year. So again, still seeing good clean rises in inventory, as compared to last year, for the new listing inventory and existing inventory. Average active price is down 4.4% over last month, and down 9.4% over last year. So sellers on average in LA County are asking 9.4% less than they did last year, and receiving here average sold price 7.3% higher than they did last year. Okay. Remember, the normal amount of appreciation is between 4 and 7%. So here in LA County, we're just slightly higher than that, okay, at 7.3%. Months of inventory has gone up 5.6% over last month. Last month we were at 3.6 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 3.8 months of inventory, and up 38.3% overall. So last year we were at 2.9 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 4 months of inventory. So what does that mean? We are knocking on the door of a normal market in LA County. Okay. Average days on market has no change over last month. Okay. However, a 19.4% increase over last year. Last year, we were at 31 days on market. Currently, we're sitting at 37 days on market. And then sold versus original list price, no change. We're at 97% of list price. 1% decrease as compared to last year. So last year, sellers were receiving 98% of their list price, and currently they're receiving 97% of their list price. Okay. All right. So that is it for LA County. I believe that I started the recording in Orange County. So you guys were able to see Orange County numbers. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys have an amazing week and make it productive. All right. Take care.